Welcome to the Ben and Dan Show. I am Ben, he is Dan, and we are going to talk about the top sports topics of the week.
And leading things off, we got the Miami Heat finally putting an end to Lynn's insanity and the New York Knicks rout. Last night, the Knicks lost to the Miami Heat 102-88. Jeremy Lin, of course, the top scorer in the NBA for the last 2 weeks, had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but also had 8 turnovers. Ben, do you believe Jeremy Lin can be an all-star or even a perennial starter in this league, especially in such a high criticism city with such low patience such as New York, or do you think this is just a 2-week hot streak?
I think Jeremy Lin is a very capable starter in the NBA. I think he is perfect for the system like Tony runs. Do I think he is a top point guard in the NBA? I wouldn't go that far, but I do think in the system he's playing currently right now, I think he has a huge chance to thrive, and I certainly think in the system he could be a perennial all-star.
All right, so Jeremy Lin, you believe, can be an all-star. Does having Carmelo back help him or hurt him?
I think having Carmelo back will help him because I think it will help him cut down on the turnovers. I think he's had to do a lot of ball handling. Without Carmelo, I think a lot of the points and a lot of the scoring has had to go through him. Without Carmelo, but with Carmelo back, I think the focus will be back on Carmelo, and Jeremy Lin will be able to focus more on cutting down his turnovers than scoring.
All right, and other point guard news, Milwaukee Bucks point guard Brendan Jennings is going to be a free agent this offseason, and he is talking about how he'd like to move to a larger market such as LA. Will he lose his top scorer status as a NBA go-to guy if he goes to somewhere like the Lakers?
He would. He'd obviously have to make a sacrifice. His point total would go down significantly. However, he would also have a better chance of winning. Let's be honest. LA is a better team. It's also a bigger market. And if that's what he wants, is to win, he's better off in LA than he's in Milwaukee. If he wants more money, I think Milwaukee would give him more in this situation. But if it is about winning, LA is the better option.
If he does go to LA, where does Milwaukee go from there?
I think you pretty much have to do what any team in that situation can do, and you'd have to hopefully find somebody in the draft to replace him, or at the most, maybe find somebody in free agency who could replace him. But I don't think you're going to find a guy quite as good as Brendan Jennings on the market.
In other Milwaukee sports news, Ryan Braun was exonerated of all performance-enhancing drug allegations this week as the MLB admitted that their tests were wrong and tampered with. Does this mean that the MLB's drug testing policy is not accurate?
I think this is a controversial topic, but I do think that the MLB got this right. I don't think Ryan Braun used performance-enhancing drugs to help his performance. I think he used it for another issue. I just think that they got it right with Braun. I don't think he was using this for anything more than to help a physical issue that he needed it for.
Braun was a consistent all-star, top of the NL and MVP votes every year. Now that he actually is the NL MVP, every time someone wins a high award like the Cy Young, NL MVP, AL MVP, are they going to be questioned for steroids after the huge steroid use through the late 90s, early 2000s?
I think they will. It's a high praise, and when guys have big seasons who don't typically put up the numbers they put up that year, it's always going to come up.
Jose Bautista.
Yeah, Jose Bautista, for instance. Went from 13 home runs as his career high, playing very little for the Pittsburgh Pirates, goes to the Blue Jays in the field nobody really cared about, and hit 50 home runs. I mean, the fact of the matter is, whenever a guy has a breakout season, that's always going to be a question that's going to be brought up. It's unfortunate, but it's a part of baseball.
Other steroid use in the MLB, Manny Ramirez he got signed by the Oakland Athletics to a minor league contract. As you know, he got caught steroids twice. He still has to serve his 50-game suspension, but low risk, high reward for Athletics if Manny is back to the old Manny. And I think if he can hit 280, 20 home runs, and 70 RBI, the A's win here for a rebuilding team who just needs fans.
Absolutely. I think the one thing Manny Ramirez will bring, with or without great talent or performance, is fans. Fans are going to be fascinated by Manny Ramirez. He's clearly a big market guy. He had a huge fan base in LA when he played for the Dodgers. He's a guy who is going to bring in the fans, This is a low-risk situation, obviously. The A's aren't looking to win this year, and for Manny, it's just a chance to get back into Major League Baseball and hopefully show teams that are competing that he still has something left.
Clearly, the A's aren't your pick to win the World Series, by all means, but who from the AL and NL are your World Series picks? Who are your AL and NL champions?
I think from the NL, you can't pick against the Phillies. The Phillies are just such a good team. They have great pitching with Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee. They have great hitters in Ryan Howard and Chase Utley. They're a very well-rounded team, and I don't think see anybody in the NL really challenging them if they put it all together. As for the AL, I mean, they've been a subject of big news in the free agent market this year. We saw the Angels bring in Pujols and Wilson. We saw the Rangers bring in Yu Darvish. We saw the Yankees bring in a bunch of revamp their pitching staff. We've seen the Red Sox bring in some guys.
Don't forget the Tigers' big signing of Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder signing, which is, speaking of the Tigers, I'm picking the Tigers to win the AL. I think they are a great team with the addition of Prince Fielder. They have a tremendous offense. I think the pitching staff's going to have to catch up a bit, but it's a good pitching staff. I think Max Scherzer...
They're led by the best pitcher in the league,
Justin Verlander, who I think is obviously going to have to play a big role again. But I think the hitting that Prince Fielder has now brought in with Miguel Cabrera, the Tigers are going to be an awful hard team to beat in the AL.
Phillies, Tigers, World Series, who you got?
I will take the Tigers in this situation. I think their hitting would be able to overcome the pitching of the Phillies.
All right. For me, I believe the Angels, who they brought in, just solidifies them. They were already an AL contender. Flirting around with the AL West title, now I believe that puts them up and over the top into World Series talk. I have to go with them. They have the best player in MLB, in Albert Pujols. For the NL, new city, new franchise, new jerseys, new players, Miami Marlins. Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, and with the rising status of Gabe Sanchez and Mark Burley, their pitcher, I think they can overcome the Phillies in the NL East. So I'm going to go Angels, Marlins, and all in all, I think the Angels pitching can just overcome the Marlins, because I believe Marlins are a health risk team, if you know what I mean.
Yes, the Marlins definitely have perhaps the most upside of any team this year, and certainly you can't go against the Angels with their additions they have made.
Switching sports now to the NFL, the draft is coming up. The Colts have already said that they are going to take Andrew Luck with their first overall pick, and they're still not sure where Peyton Manning is going. If you are the Colts, if you're Jim Irsay, are you taking RG3, an athletically talented athlete, or are you going with quarterback, supposedly phenomenon, Andrew Luck?
You're going with Andrew Luck, and you're going with Andrew Luck because he's the top prospect at the quarterback position since Peyton Manning. And if you're going to get rid of Peyton Manning, you take the guy who's perhaps the best prospect since him. I think with RG3, you have more upside potentially. I think he's got the potential to be phenomenal. But I think the ceiling for Andrew Luck is so high that even if he doesn't live up to the expectations of being a Peyton Manning, that he will still be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
I agree with you, Andrew Luck, low risk, high reward. RG3, high risk, higher reward, I believe. I think he's just so much more athletically gifted. He's got a strong arm, strong legs. Andrew Luck, strong arm. He's had some knee problems in the past, but I'm sure that won't be a problem. I just believe that the Colts need to build their O-line around Andrew Luck and revamp that organization. Wrapping everything up, that's all we got for you this week, but next week we will be doing our top 5 quarterback debate. That's all we got for you this week, folks. Have a good night.